Those of you who are married, think about this. What are the things that you know now about your spouse, or guys, about your wife, that you absolutely love and adore, but you had no idea when you got married that that was a part of her? We had a great family weekend this weekend. We spent a lot of time at Epcot. It was Cam's birthday, and we spent a lot of time just celebrating and laughing as a family. And I got to be honest with you, one of the things I love most about Nicole is her laugh and her presence in our family and with our kids. And it is just fascinating to watch. I had no idea how she would be. You know, I knew kids kind of liked her when we got married and stuff, but I had no idea. And as I watch her as a mom and I watch her interact and laugh and play with our kids, there is such a deep attraction here that it's hard to describe. But my knowledge of her has grown over the years. And so as you have been a student of your wife, what are the things that you didn't know about her back then that you know about her now that you absolutely adore? And do you tell her about those things? He goes on, your graceful legs are like jewels, the works of a craftsman's hand. He loves the curve of her legs here. The Hebrew word for legs is actually most likely talking about her thighs. And again, notice he's being verbally generous to her and telling her all the things that he loves about her while she is being visually generous to him and uploading all these images into his hard drive. This is an area that he's praising that most people in this culture would not have seen. This is an area that is discovered in intimate moments with husband and wife behind closed doors, and he is telling her how great she looks. He's saying, hey, your hips must have been made by an artist. And he is esteeming her and showing her value. Guys, do you praise your wives? Do you praise them? Do you tell them the things that you love about them? Verse 2, your navel is a rounded goblet that never lacks blended wine. Your waist is a mound of wheat encircled by lilies. Thank you. All right then. And we're moving on. Let's do the first service on the web. Okay. Surrounded by lilies. Here you go. What is he talking about here? Is he just saying, oh, wow, is this, your belly button is so huge that I can fit a wine goblet in it, or it's abnormally large here? No, that's most likely not what he's talking about. In fact, commentators will say that it's really not referring specifically to the navel, but more a different section of her anatomy, her the willy thing just totally threw me off. I'm going to be honest with you. Trying to regain. All right, he's talking about the area just a little bit south. There you go. But he's talking, okay, then he goes to the belly. Your waist is a mound of wheat. What's he really saying here? Why the wine? Why the wheat? What's he talking about with this? He's actually quite the wordsmith here as he's talking about this. There were two major crop times in Israel. One was the spring season, which brought grapes and fruits, and the other was the fall or autumn season, which brought wheat. And when the land of Israel was overflowing with wine and with wheat, it was seen that they had great rains and they had a great harvest and a great crop. And always, 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 that was associated with God's goodness and God's faithfulness and God's gift to the people. And so here's what he's saying. You are God's gift to me. You are precious in my sight because God has given you to me. And I'm so in love with you. Proverbs 19:14 says this, houses and land are from fathers, but a good wife is a gift from God. When's the last time you looked at your wife and just said, you know what? You are a gift from God to me. And I'm so thankful for you. When's the last time you treated her like that? where she knew and she understood that she was a gift to you and you were appreciative of that. Verse 3, your breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle. This is the same phrase he uses in the honeymoon night, chapter 4, verse 5. She here is unclothed, dancing for her husband, and he calls her small, furry woodland creatures. What's really going on here? Okay? There is a softness and a gentleness and a tenderness that is continuing here. Notice he says the same thing on his honeymoon night, and he has that same gentleness, softness, and tenderness. And as he progresses years into the future, that doesn't die. He has the same gentleness and tenderness towards her, admiration and respect towards her. Your neck is an ivory tower. Does this long neck? There's actually no place in the Bible where there's an ivory tower. It's too expensive. And what he's saying is this: there's no amount of money that equals your worth. You are far more valuable than anything else. Your eyes are the pools of Heshbon by the gate of Beth Rabim. Beth Rabim was a busy city. What we know about the Old Testament times is that most of the commerce, most of the transactions took place at the gate. And so it was a place of hustle and bustle. It was a place of commerce going on. It was arguing. There was bickering back and forth. There was bartering going on. It was kind of a harsh marketplace. And apparently outside of this gate were these two pools that were an oasis, that were a retreat, that were a wonderful, wonderful place. And he's saying, you know what? When I look into your eyes, it takes me away to a retreat. The world might be cruel. The world might be harsh. I might have had a horrible day at work, but when I come home and I stare into your eyes, everything's okay. There's this retreat there. I told you we celebrated our 16th anniversary. We went to Cheesecake Factory, got a babysitter, went to Cheesecake Factory. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but they put us at this little table, and you just kind of feel like you're crowded. You know, you're in this little area, and you didn't get a booth. And so I'm like, hey, hi. You know, and then Nicole and I kind of ordered, and we just started talking. And I got to be honest with you, I'm looking into her green eyes, and I got lost. I mean, it was like there was no one else in the restaurant. We were just having this conversation, the two of us talking back and forth, and I was totally lost in her eyes. And just feeling this, man, isn't God good? And then there appeared this guy at my table, and I looked up, and I noticed it wasn't my waiter, and it wasn't anyone I recognized from church or anything like that. And he said, hi, my name's so-and-so. I'm the manager here. And he goes, I came just to apologize. And I was like, about? And he goes, well, it's been a while since you ordered your food. We had some things happen in the kitchen. We're running late. I'm really sorry. What I'm going to do, is there anything I can bring you in the meantime? I'll go and I'll check the time and I'll report it back to you and let you know when it's coming. And I looked at like my phone and my watch, and I was like, it's been 45 minutes since we ordered. I had no idea. I mean, time had just stopped. And I was staring into Nicole's eyes, and we were talking. And I looked at the guy and go, hey, buddy, I could care less when the food gets here. Bring it when it comes. I don't care. I get to talk to my wife. And there's this connection. When you look into your wife's eyes, what do you see? What do you see? Is it a retreat for you because of how you've treated her? Or is it one of disdain that you see back to you? One of the guys grabbed me in between. He's like, I see brown. I'm like, okay. Think a little bit deeper than that. What do you see when she looks at you? Everything else fades. He moves on. Your nose is like a tower of Lebanon looking towards Damascus. All right, so she has a huge nose. Here's what we know. Here's what we know from the scripture so far, leading up to this. We know that she doesn't feel like she measures up to the cultural standard of beauty. Okay? The cultural standard was light skin. She's saying, my skin is dark, has been burnt by the sun. She has a long neck. She has a large nose. And here's the thing. For him, He doesn't care about the cultural standard of what's presented. His standard of beauty is her.